I was through with electoral politics. Or I'm through, I just telling my roommate. We did everything we could, and Bush still won the election. You know, and I don't think voting Democrat or Republican is really going to save our planet in crisis right now. You know what we need? We need a paradigm shift. When Galileo said, hey, guess what? The universe doesn't revolve around us. In fact, we revolve around that little ball you see in the sky. It didn't just change how we looked up into the sky, but it changed our relationship with everything around us. So I became obsessed with paradigm shift. And I kept searching and searching and searching. And as the ancient Chinese curse goes, may you get what you wish for, that's exactly what happened to me. Because the night I turned 30, I was sitting in my bed, minding my own business, when I felt this sort of presence enter me, just for a second. And when it left, it was poof. Suddenly, I could see energy fields around people. Now I know people call these auras and all those things, but back then I just called it crazy. Except there was one thing that told me I wasn't completely insane, and that was that I could teach my friends to see this neat little trick. And now the skeptic part of me needed answers immediately. And so I started doing a lot of research, and I found out about string theory, you know, the most advanced thing out there, saying, well, guess what? The whole universe is just this orchestra of vibrating strings and energy. So I thought, well, maybe there's something in that. And then I studied the human energy system, and I learned about these things they called the chakras, or chakras, however you pronounce that. And I learned about the seventh one, the crown chakra, was associated with the pineal gland. And each one is associated with a gland. And that's when I found out about DMT and then ayahuasca. And I just sensed that something that was there with ayahuasca, like an answer I was looking for. And so as these journeys go, they never come when you want them to. They come when you're ready. So many, many, many months later, I'm in a farmhouse with a guide, and everyone drinks from the most disgusting, vile concoction I've ever tasted in my entire life. And about 45 minutes in, everyone's looking at the ceiling as if it's the most amazing thing in the world. And this is an old, chipped wood ceiling. And so I decide to lay down like they are, and I look up, and it is the most amazing thing in the world. There are just patterns moving and geometric things and symbols that I just don't understand what they mean. And I'm just like in total awe when suddenly it goes 3D. It starts coming at me, and we're talking little swirly things and all of that. But then I sense it, and I totally freak out because I'm not alone. There's some presence behind this thing. And then the presence starts communicating with me telepathically, and it says, hey, I know this might seem a little weird, but you know what? You're in for a really good journey, so, you know, just relax, lay down, and enjoy the show. And that's exactly what you want to hear on your first journey. So I laid down and watched the lattice and doilies, and they kind of dripped down, and then suddenly I felt my chakras spinning. And these used to be these subtle energy centers I wasn't sure I believed in, but it felt like mechanics were spinning wheels about 90 RPM. In fact, I started getting a little bit afraid. Something was going on with my body. And that's when the presence said, hey, man, don't worry. The worst is over. Just close your eyes, and it's there. So I closed my eyes, and shoop, the energy that is me just goes out of my body, and it was the first out-of-body experience I've ever had, and I gotta tell you, it was amazing. These bodies are really limited things, so to suddenly not have bones and muscles to deal with, and to just be detached from all my material worries, and I felt like I was just some more authentic version of myself. And that's when the presence starts speaking to me, and it says, hey, you know, we just want to tell you, or I want to tell you really good work. You chose the life that you chose to get over some difficulties in a past life. And I was like, ooh, past life, this is getting weirder. And you've done a really good job. You've evolved as a person, you've come into your own, and so, pat on the back. And then the president said, hey, you can go back into your body. So shoop, somehow I know to get right back in there. And as I come back into my body, I see myself as 3 incarnations. And the first one is a half bear, half human, sitting on a stone throne. The second one, I'm a lion king, like half human, half lion king, with all this gilded, like a gilded throne and a crown, and it was pretty neat. And then the third one, the third one was, I was half human and half snake, but this was no ordinary snake. It was sitting on an invisible throne, very serene, very compassionate and sophisticated, and kind of organic but yet synthetic. And it matched this duality really well, and it seemed to kind of figure that out, the whole duality game. So anyways, I was thinking about these incarnations, and it really seemed to me like the first one represented us as humans, as a tribal society, and just that amazing story that it is. And the second one really seemed to represent civilization, and I've always been a little down on civilization and destroying the environment and those things, but for some reason I could also see that it was a really good story. And then the third one seemed like, well, if you thought about the tribal society and you told people way back then, well, guess what? You're going to be growing plants out of the ground, and you're going to be building cities and skyscrapers, and there's going to be this really crazy thing called electricity. I don't think people believe you. And so I started looking at that last incarnation, the snake, that universal symbol of transformation, and I thought, wow, I wonder if there's something there. It just felt like this big question mark to me. And so that's when I hear the humming. And there's all this beautiful humming around me. And so I close my eyes, and there's these DNA strands that are doing this little snake dance around me. And they're really beautiful and iridescent. And I've lost my place. Oh, and the humming just increases, and I feel the presence is back. But not only is it one presence, but it's several presences. And not only that, but I realized I've actually felt them at different times in my life besides when I just turned 30. And I realized, wow, these guys are my guardian spirits. Now, I've heard people talk about guardian spirits, but I never really believed in them, I gotta tell you. But there they were, and they were just having a party. They're like, welcome back, we miss you. Oh, the reunion tour is here. And they were just humming and happy and giggling, and I'm giggling. I'm like, yeah, this kind of makes sense in a weird way. And then the spirits start saying, hey, you're going to really love this part of the journey. And they're giggling, and they're saying, your human personality is just not going to believe this. It's so wonderful. There's no way. And they go, are you ready? Are you ready? And so, of course, I'm saying, yeah, I'm ready, I'm ready. And they say, look up, look up. And so I look up, and they're humming, and they're like singing all these great songs. And I'm raising up on a lotus flower, which I didn't even know what those really looked like, but there it was, perfect lotus flower, lifting me up into this beautiful white light. And so I'm in the beautiful white light, and it's just this wonderful energy of love and bliss and laughter. Wow. And they start saying, this is what you've always wanted to know. And it's true. Humans can become enlightened. In fact, you already are. You just forgot. And now it's time to remember. And I just stood there feeling this amazing energy and thinking, wait, maybe this does feel kind of familiar. And it feels like almost like a vibratory kind of state, like you could reach this level and just remember it. And suddenly I thought, wait a second. This is why all those people are doing yoga and meditating. They're trying to aspire to something. And so I sit there for a while just feeling that great energy. And then I look down and I see that the stem and the roots for this lotus flower has just been all my suffering. And I just suddenly feel so grateful for all the difficulties that I had in my life and how they've helped me to at least momentarily get to this spot. And I spend the rest of the journey just trying to remember what this energy feels like. And then when it was over, I came down like everyone else, and I was just there just saying, thank you, because I felt like ayahuasca really did give me my paradigm shift, because I now not only look at the world very differently, but myself as well. Now, I can't say that humans becoming enlightened, I don't know if that's true or not or possible, but I can say this. Like the ancient Chinese curse, I hope I get what I wish for.